Elsewhere and Elsewhen is the 12th episode of the Owl House, second season, and 31st overall. In it, Lilith returns and helps Luce look for Titan blood via time shenanigans. Meanwhile, Ida is trying to avoid her dad. Shenanigans ensue. On the billboard, we see the photo from Grom, a picture of the key. Limited? Is there more? Why does Bells want it? Remember to drink blood water. Keen. Buy Amity a new glove. Luce is working hard. Meanwhile, everyone else is having a party because Lilith is working at a museum now. All of her friends are invited, including her family, Morden, Tiny Nose, wherever this is, and Steve in a shirt with his name on it. Whoever this is Flora Dispolora, who is a very obvious reference to Dora the Explorer. She even has like a monkey palisman whip thing that looks like boots. And she's played by the voice actress who plays Dora's mom, which is so bizarre this happened, especially given that this is Disney and not Nickelodeon, and not the same age group. Oh, and I should probably mention that we have a new outfit for Lilith. We technically saw it last episode, but this is its first major appearance. It's cute. She's starting to wear her glasses again, and she definitely looks like someone's aunt. You also can tell she's not straightening her hair anymore. Kind of a shame that it's not returning to orange or starting to fade, but whatever. Also, a few scenes earlier, we could see that there's an animation mistake where both her eyes are gray. Either way, the mouse projects a news story where Philip found something called the Collector. They're a moon boy. And then the projection kind of burns away. Ida has a book on history's top 10 plot holes. There's a lot of cryptics in it, like Twigfoot. If encountered in the forest, do not approach. Seriously. Outsized sense of own importance. They'll be super eager to know what the kids are saying about their legend of Twigfoot these days. They'll get all offended if you haven't heard any and act like you're just really out of the loop. According to lore, the name Twigfoot comes from the foot, which made out of twigs. And then there's Lenderman. As you approach the teller's window, a figure welcomes you with open arms. So long. They're so long. Too long. But the terms he offers are too good to pass up. The piles of snails too tall. The interest rates too tempting. You don't know what's coming over you. You accept on the spot, and that's when you realize the figure you saw were nothing but an introduction rate. You reach for the snails in your own pocket, but they're already gone. Now belong to the Lenderman. So yeah, this is a reference to Slenderman, which takes me back to my childhood because I'm old. And possums, which Ida doubts the existence of because they're too silly looking. And finally, the most important, little pools that let you travel through time, apparently. No diving. Lilith has a new hobby. Edwardian staircases. Not the most interesting thing, but, it's her hobby. The pun Deadwardian era on Edwardian era is something we have seen before in Through the Looking Glass. This is our first time seeing Lilith's talisman off the stand. It doesn't look like how I was expecting, but it's still interesting to see it. No, we don't know its name yet. Lulu and Luz look for the time-traveling thing and literally find a stand of time that lets them look through the past, like 3 minutes ago, and so Lilith trips over her own head. And they even see dinosaurs.
We must remember, if the tide comes in, we could be trapped. Paradoxes will be a danger, and don't get me started on the bloody fly effect.
The bloody fly effect is a reference to the butterfly effect, which is 1, a terrible movie, and 2, the idea of going back in the past, accidentally stepping on a butterfly, and then all of a sudden the future is all wacky.
A bad girl historian like myself is all about taking risks. So, let's boogie down to History Town.
She really is cool, Aunt Lilith.
So they head back in the past to find Philip. Now Lilith looks like a kind of aunt that asks you about your zodiac sign, lives on a lake house, and probably buys a lot of wind chimes.
Technically in the Savage Ages, way before Bellos banished wild magic, these denizens may be dangerous.
Good tidings, kind witches.
Yeah, the supposed Savage Ages are actually a way better time. Meanwhile, Gwen is trying to get Ida to talk to her dad, and she's kind of awkward about it. Back in the past, they find Philip getting bullied by Green Fang and Red Fang. and Red Fang sets his journal on fire, which is why earlier the projection kind of fizzled out. Lou saves him and finds a page on Eclipse Lake. These two figures, the hairstyle and that nose look very familiar. And Philip, what's with your bang? It's probably nothing. Luz teaches Philip about the light cliff, and he does this massive crazy cliff that lets them teleport. Back in the present, Ida's apparently the same size as Lilith because she wears her Season 1 outfit, which we did see Lilith put away in separate tides. She uses it to escape, just for her to rip it apart and run into her dad. Back in the past, they're exploring the Titan's skull, and they find a doorway, and yeah, Philip's not as peachy as we thought he was. Because we remember this door, and these two figures are from the projection earlier. Philip uses the two girls to distract a stone-sleeping dinosaur as he gets a little glass thing, and teleports out of there, letting them deal with the dinosaur. But thanks to Scratchies, they are able to tame it and escape. And Lilith decks Philip.
You hateable sorceress!
Stay mad. Come, Lusura, we're finished here.
Cool aunt.
Water tribe.
Before they head back to the present, Lilith gets to see some authentic old-timey staircase handrail things. In the present, Ida and Dell talk. We learn that the tower behind the owl house is actually his. And we did see a little framed photo from earlier in the episode of what the Owl House Tower used to look like. It used to be a full tower and had a little gate around it. And it even had the eyeball glass window thing that's in Ida's room. Dell was left out of the loop so much that he didn't even know that his daughter was the most wanted criminal in the world. And he's only recently heard about the petrification, and he has a grandson now.
He can be a handful, but...
It's been over 20 years, Witchlet. I can't chase you anymore.
Then stop! I've ruined your life. Have you even been able to carve a new talisman since I attacked you? Stop trying to forgive me. I don't deserve it.
Oh, don't worry. I'm not here to try that again.
Dell has a little yellow bird talisman that looks a lot like Flapjack, which may or may not be important. And he's trying to replant the Pallister trees with the Bat Queen and gives a seed to Ida.
Did you come all the way here just to brag?
Yes, but also to say, let the past stay in the past, Witchlet. It's okay to move on. And give Albert my regards. Carving him with you is one of my dearest memories.
LuLu returns to the present.
Groovy, auntie.
You guys need to stop that.
Back in the past, we see Philip in his little cave, and then, Philip is Bellows. You can even see his robes in the earlier shot. And maybe a table full of Grimwalker stuff. It's a theory that basically everyone already kind of guessed, but it's still good to get it confirmed. We also see a glyph combo on his arm, which I'm guessing he uses to try and... maybe it's trying to keep them together. Our secret code is AS.
Just need to live long enough to see this through. And you're going to help me, Collector.
Oh, it's getting real. He's got an Eclipse Boy. We technically have seen the Collector before as the person attacking the Owl Beast and knocking on Heaven's door. But anyways, this is a fine episode. It's cool seeing Lilith and Luz interacting. I love the scene between Ida and Dell. And it's cool seeing Philip and confirming that he is Bellows. I do know via future sense that the Collector will be important for the rest of the season, but it just feels like this episode should have been like last episode, if you know what I mean. It seems like a better premiere episode for the rest of the season, especially since it's not directly connected to the Day of Black Sun like the rest of the season. I still like the episode. The only thing I don't like is that there's this weird double voice thing with Philip becoming Bellows' voice when he summons the Collector, like it's getting possessed, but no, it's just Philip. So I don't know why they did it, in case like you still couldn't tell that he's Bellows, and didn't know people's voices tend to change over time. Just seems kind of dumb. But either way, I still like this episode, but it's not one of my favorites. 6.5 out of 10. But I still love the Owl House.
Imagine, ideal, illusion. Eden, the Kamen Rider.
The creator who charges forward believing in paradise.